Hi, everyone, and welcome to Yoga Collective. I'm Brooke, and this is Rooney, and we're super excited today because we have a sequence to help alleviate some unwanted side effects of celiac disease. Let's get started. We're going to begin here in an easy cross-leg pose, bringing hands onto the knees. And we'll start out with just a little bit of belly breathing here. So when we inhale, we really want to have a soft belly and a soft pelvic floor so our diaphragm can open up. So when you exhale here and when you inhale, allow for that belly to expand almost like it's a balloon. And then exhale, just allow that exhale to passively come out. Inhale. And exhale. That's it, nice and soft. Inhale. And exhale. Last one here. Inhale. And exhale. Bringing hands onto the knees again. Start out with a couple of seated torso circles here. So you can almost imagine that you're inside a wine barrel and your belly is just scraping the insides of it here. Thinking about keeping that chin parallel to the ground and really reaching out. Inhale as you come through the front. Exhale as you come back. And we'll take that around the opposite direction. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Trying to keep both of those sitting bones down onto the mat here. And you can even use that hand to press the knee away from you as you open up. And just last one here, reaching it around. And taking a pause, coming back into that belly breathing. So we're thinking about that soft pelvic floor and soft belly. As you inhale, expand. As you exhale, drawing it back in. One more, inhale, expand. Exhale, bringing it back in. Bringing yourself onto all fours here. So we'll come up to a standing posture here, Tadasana. Try to bring your feet hip distance apart, or perhaps you'd like to bring those big toes together, just an inch between the heels. Coming back into that belly breathing that we were working on before. On an inhale, reaching the arms up, interlacing the hands here, and then stretching yourself over to one side here, a little standing side bend, getting a lovely opening through the side of the body. Inhale, soft pelvic floor and soft belly. Exhale, reaching it up over towards the other side. Inhale through center. Exhale, open it back up to the first side. Inhale here again, last one. Open up on an exhale. Inhale, coming back. Releasing the arms, give those shoulders a little roll here. We're going to be stepping back on our right foot here. So taking that all the way back into a warrior one, you may want to heel toe the legs just a little bit wider for a little bit more stability here. And finding that back blade edge of that foot. Hands down by the sides on an inhale, coming up, warrior one. Soften through the shoulders, allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. Nice and relax through the jaw, through the forehead. And again, come back into that belly breathing. We'll be here for a few breaths. Releasing the hands down by the sides, a little roll through the shoulders. We'll take that up and over into a warrior two here. You may want to adjust the distance between the feet here, thinking about planting down through the feet. Now try to stay out of those toes. We don't want to grip into the toes, so keep them nice and soft. Think about that tailbone coming down towards the floor, that front knee pulling over towards the pinky toe side. With relaxed shoulders, inhale the arms up, and you can gaze through that front middle finger here. Just like we did in our warrior one, we'll be here for a couple of breaths. Releasing the arms again, rolling through the shoulders, come back into the breath, reaching that front hand forward a little bit, Bring that palm up towards the ceiling, and then staying low in that front leg, we're going to take that revolved warrior here. So from the side, it looks a little more like this. We've got our warrior two legs here. We reach it forward, palm comes up, and then reaching it back. So rather than dropping down into this back hip and trying to get really deep here, think more about reaching up through the top ribs. Relax the shoulders. If this is a little too much on the shoulder here, with that arm up, we can bring that down to relax through the neck. Pressing into the front heel, coming up to a straightened leg, opening up through those arms here, palms facing forward. Reach out from the hip, just like we did for that revolved warrior, and then bring that hand down onto the shin and open up through that top arm here. We'll breathe into it. If it's a little too much on that knee here, being in a straightened position, we'll bring a little softness into it by bending it here. And to come out of this one, we're going to bend through that front knee, press into the heel, bringing yourself back up. We're back into those warrior two legs here. We'll take an extended side angle. So arms can reach out, coming out from the hip, bringing that elbow onto the knee, and that arm can scoop up over the head. And just like in our revolved warrior, if it's a little too much on the neck, just simply release that arm here. Breathing into that belly again. Pressing into the front heel, coming back up into a little warrior two here. And we're going to frame that front foot, stepping that foot back into our plank position, and then exhaling into down dog. If down dog is a little too bold, you can bring yourself down onto your knees. And taking a slightly lighter version here into a modified puppy. Wherever you are, still breathing into the belly. A little softness in the knees here will help to soften through the hamstrings and through the lower back as well. You don't have to force those heels down. We're going to bring that one back up. So on an inhale, looking forward. And we'll bring that right foot forward again, taking it into extended side angles. So first of all, coming up into our warrior two, that elbow to knee, and then sweeping that hand up and over the head. Breathe into the belly. Pressing into that front heel, opening up through the side, Trikonasana triangle, reaching it forward. Hand comes to shin, and that top arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Bending through that front knee, coming into a warrior two here, and then we'll take that back into our revolved warrior towards the back of the mat again. On an inhale, making your way into warrior two. Think about opening up through the belly. Allow that breathing to be effective. Be mindful with the breathing. And then sweeping yourself towards the front. We've got our warrior one again. So you may want to scoot that back foot in just ever so slightly so you're not overreaching through the legs. And then stepping towards the front of the mat, interlacing those hands back into our side bend. Inhale, center. And inhale here again, releasing the arms, give yourself a nice shoulder roll. Now you're welcome to do that again if you want to. You may want to step back on your left side here instead of your other side. We're going to come down into a seated sequence here. So coming down onto the sitting bones, you may want to move a little bit of flesh out the way so you can feel that connection into the earth. Navasana boat pose. Lots of options with this one. So first of all, we sink down. we bring the upper body back a little bit. Think about a grapefruit size underneath the chin here. So we're not dropping it down. We're not lifting it up. We can keep those feet on the floor and grab behind the thighs. If you want to make it a little more bold, we can reach the arms out. Still relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing through the jaw and the forehead. If you want to step it up again, we can bring the hands behind the legs here and lifting up off the feet here. Now, I recommend keeping the legs slightly apart. When the legs are together, we tend to have a stronger leg than the other. So by keeping them apart, they're working independently. Option as well to release those hands. Breathing into the belly. Releasing down onto the feet. Bring those hands to the ground. Let's take a couple of windscreen wipers here to loosen up through the lower back. Our next posture here is half upward plank. So bringing those hands just underneath the shoulders here, the fingers pointing towards the hips, pressing into the feet. Now the feet are about hip distance apart. As you come up, lifting up through the hips. Now it's not dropping the head back here. We can either keep it in a neutral position or alternatively, you can tuck that down into the throat. Once you've found your position, breathing back into the belly. After your next exhale, releasing down onto the sitting bones again. You may want to come up off those arms, give them a little roll, maybe through the wrists as well. And rolling over, coming into a half kneeling position. Extending one leg out towards the side. Arms sweep up, sliding that inside hand down the leg and opening up into your gate, just like we did before in our revolved warrior. Think more so about lifting up through the side ribs than dropping down here into the hip. Stepping back inside the breath. One more breath. And then inhale to come up. Coming back to that kneeling position, take a couple of breaths here just to allow that spine to come back to neutral. And then eventually we'll extend that other leg out, arms floating up, sliding down the leg, lifting up through the side ribs, landing back inside the breath. Inhale, sweeping it up again, coming back to neutral and making your way down onto your sitting bones again. Extending that right leg out in front of you, bringing this left leg up and over. If it's a little too much for the legs here, we can simply bring that leg to the same side. On an inhale, we sweep the arms up. On an exhale, we're hugging onto that knee and that back arm is reaching behind. Now that breath will be a little bit restricted here because we are in a twisting posture. So focus a little more on the inhale and don't worry too much about the exhale. Releasing here, extending those legs down the mat, give them a little shake. And then we'll take that over on our other side. So drawing that right leg in, inhale, the arms come up. Exhale to twist over towards the right side. This hand at the back here, it's there for a little bit of support so you can press into it, so you can lengthen up through the spine a little bit further. If it's okay on the neck, you can look towards the back. And releasing, giving those legs another little shake here. We're going to make our way down onto our bellies here. And finding our way to our locust pose here. So first of all, just interlacing or stacking those hands underneath the forehead. Give yourself a little rock through the hips and through the legs, loosening up through the lower back. And then extending those legs down the mat. The hands can come down beside the body. On an inhale, lifting hands, lifting legs. And then breathing into that belly again. You might get a little rocking motion here from the inhale to the exhale. As that belly expands, it might come up. And as it releases, we may come into that slight fall. And one more round of breath. And releasing here, rolling through those legs again, releasing the lower back. And you can make your way onto your back again for our wind relieving pose. So lifting up through the hips, roll down through them, connecting the entire spine here onto the earth, drawing knees in towards the chest, interlace those hands on top of the shins, and then gently draw the knees in towards the belly here. At the same time, as the arms are pulling the knees in, the knees are pressing back into the arms here. So there's a tiny little tug of war happening in the body. And then connect back into that breath. If you need a little more space for the belly, just simply open the legs a little wider and draw the knees in towards the armpits rather than in towards the chest. And releasing those legs. Allow that spine to come down to normal. If you'd like a little bit of movement here, feel free to add that in. And our final posture of the day here is our Shavasana, that well-earned rest that we can enjoy at the end of class. So extending the legs down the mat, opening up through the arms, closing down the eyes. Taking a moment here in the breath, still nice and soft with the pelvic floor and belly. If you like a little bit of feedback, you can bring those hands onto the belly. And you can stay here for 5 to 10 minutes. Taking as much time as you need. And that's all that we have for you today. Hope you enjoyed your class. Namaste.